New Jersey Jets general manager Joe Douglas has informed Zach Wilson's agent that he's welcome to seek a trade, which is a little bit like when your girlfriend tells you she doesn't mind if you talk to other girls because nobody else would ever want you. But just like I proved to that bitch Brittany back in 2017, don't ever underestimate your fugly cousin who's so desperate for a man that she'll pretty much take anyone at this point. Looking at you, Denver Broncos. Don't get me wrong, I don't think that Zach Wilson to the Broncos is the worst thing. Actually, I think it might be a good idea. Here's why. By all indicators, the Denver Broncos are trying to shed Russell Wilson like he's a wart that's already infected the arm, so the only option left is to amputate. The Broncos are seemingly going to eat $85 million in dead cap just to get rid of him. That's what I meant by amputate. That's that analogy. The critics are probably going to give me shit about this take. Why would they even want Zach Wilson? Isn't the answer to draft a quarterback? Well, maybe. And that's still an option even if you do trade for Zach Wilson. But it's not a great option. The Broncos are picking 12th in this upcoming draft. So unless they can trade up to get one of the top three, I'm pretty sure quarterbacks 1, 2, and 3 are going to go 1, 2, and 3, then the future for the Broncos most likely isn't going to come out of this draft. I'm not even sure they can get up to 3. They don't even have a second round pick this year to leverage. So at number 12, they're going to be stuck with table scraps like JJ McCarthy or Michael Penix Jr. If they get lucky, they might have a shot at Bo Nix. Any one of those 3 quarterbacks could be something. They could just as easily be nothing. They could just as easily be worse than Zach Wilson. Worse than Zach Wilson? Do you even watch football? Yes, I do. And do you know what I've watched when I've watched football when it comes to the Jets? I watched Sam Darnold beat out Trey Lance for the backup job in San Francisco. That's after the Panthers and the Jets both gave up on him. You know what the Panthers and the Jets have in common? No depth at wide receiver, terrible offensive line. I watched the Jets try to replace Zach Wilson with Trevor Siemian. Siemian ended up looking worse than Zach Wilson. I watched Aaron Rodgers, in a very small sample size, wind up on his back. I've watched every quarterback suck in New Jersey unless they're playing for the visiting team. The Jets have no offensive line, meaning we've never seen Zach Wilson behind a good offensive line. We've never seen Zach Wilson with a deep receiving core, even a receiving core as deep as the Denver Broncos, which is nothing to write home about, but it's definitely an upgrade from the New York Jets. Why don't the Broncos just pick up somebody in free agency, like Kirk Cousins? With what money? The Denver Broncos organization has less spending money than Adrian Peterson. Kirk's estimated value is $39 million according to SpotRack. If the Broncos are going to move on from Russell Wilson, they need someone cheap like Zach Wilson, who's still on his rookie contract and has a potential for a 5th-year option. Okay, well, why don't the Broncos just trade for Justin Fields? I don't hate that option, but here's the problem. They're not going to be alone in trying to trade for Justin Fields. The Falcons, the Steelers, the Raiders, a few other teams are all going to have different levels of interest in Justin Fields. Zach Wilson, on the other hand, has a much smaller market, meaning it's going to cost a lot less to trade for him. And look, if you're Denver, who just lost big on the high risk, high reward move to go get Russell Wilson, where they gave up all of those draft picks, they gave up all of those players, they gave up all of that money just to get him, something that's low risk and high reward is probably the right move for Broncos general manager George Paton. Hey, you stuck around for the whole video. Don't be a dick. Hit the like button. I'm just kidding. Do whatever you want. But if you liked the content, please like and subscribe. I'll catch you next time.